The results are almost all in from the 2015 UK general election, and it is clear now that last night's dramatic exit poll was just about correct. This morning, we're looking at a result that no one expected. The Conservative Party has won enough seats to govern alone, having made major inroads into Liberal Democrat territory while fending off Labour in key two-way marginals. It was a terrible night for Labour, whose Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls has lost his own seat. And a great night for the Scottish National Party, which won almost every single seat north of the border. So if we look now at what happened when all the constituencies are the same size, first of all, remember that some of these blobs are still grey. We haven't had declarations in every single seat. But two things jump out. Look at these flashing blobs of yellow up here. That's the unprecedented SNP landslide in Scotland. And the second thing, look at the flashing blobs of blue in the southwest. That's where the Conservatives did really well, encroaching into Liberal Democrat territory. Now we're going to pick out a few of the most high-profile figures to lose their seats last night. First of all, up here, right in the very north of the UK, that's Danny Alexander, the former Liberal Democrat Chief Secretary to the Treasury. He's gone to the SNP, as has Jim Murphy, the former Labour leader in Scotland. Slightly further down, a result that no one expected, Ed Balls, the Shadow Chancellor, has lost his seat. And right down here in Twickenham, Vince Cable ends a long parliamentary career on a sad note. He's lost out as well. So let's have a look at what happened when we plot each of the parties against each other and see just who won seats off whom. First of all, we can see the makeup of the last parliament. What happens when we transform that into what happened last night? Well, first of all, the most major movement you see is from Labour up into the SNP territory up here. That is that huge victory that the SNP won. But that is not the only reason Labour lost. If you look down here, these are the seats they were fighting against the Conservatives. They needed to win almost all of these to have a realistic chance of governing in Westminster. They didn't. They won as many as they lost, and they've stood almost stock still. Now, let's break it down into the FT's key battlegrounds. The first one, the Battle of Scotland. As you can see, the SNP absolutely swept the board up here, over 50 seats. The next key battleground was exactly what was going to happen in the marginal seats between Labour and the Conservatives. And you can see it was pretty much as was before last night. Labour made almost no inroads into that territory. What's happened to the Lib Dems? As the poll suggested, they've taken an absolute battering. Their seats have split evenly between Labour and the Conservatives, and they're left now with a rump of just around 9 or 10 seats in the Parliament. Final theme, what was going to happen to the insurgent anti-EU UK Independence Party? Well, it performed well in terms of number of seats, but it's only won one Clacton, but that is not the breakthrough the party was hoping for. For a more in-depth look at the full results, go to ft.com/GE2015.